Welcome to the VWell Podcast, real conversations with our experts about our mission to revolutionize wellness in body, mind, and soul. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to this new episode of the VWell Experts Podcast. I'm delighted to have my friend here, Dody Nehas. She's a fantastic instructor. I've taken her class. Let's just dive right in. So Dody, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It was wonderful to have you in class as well.
I got so much out of it. So let's solve the mystery. So what wellness modalities do you share with the world?
Well, I'm currently teaching barre classes. I also teach dance, but that's for right now 3-year-olds through 8th grade.
Okay, so not on the VWell market necessarily, yeah. So tell me, teaching barre and teaching dance. So what was your wellness journey like? How did you get into teaching what you teach?
Well, I have taught, or I've been involved in dance since I was very young. You know, just like many mothers, my mother put me in ballet class when I was probably 6 years old. And I just took to it and loved it. And all the way through my school years, I was dancing. And when I graduated, I actually ended up at the School of the Hartford Ballet and took their teacher training program. While I wanted to be a dancer, I also knew I wanted to share dance with the world by teaching. And so after I graduated from that, I started teaching for the Hartford Ballet and also danced for a dance company in Rhode Island, Newport, Rhode Island, called the Island Moving Company. So I've been involved, for many years teaching dance. And then barre kind of came into the world, and there was a local studio not too far from where I lived that was doing barre certification. And I was like, I think I'm going to do that. I actually did it with my daughter. And then a few years later, I reunited with Elizabeth Halfpap, who I went for ballet with. And she told me about the certification that they were just creating, and it was just becoming accredited. So a few years later, I went through the certification there also with my daughter again.
I love that. Now, many people know, but just in case they don't, what actually is barre?
Barre is a combination of, I would say, Pilates, some yoga, and of course, part of the ballet barre. And it is a whole body strengthening exercise that really, there's a true mind-body connection. You really have to, open up your mind and know that it's not a competitive type of fitness, and you are really there for yourself. And it really changes so much. It will strengthen you for everyday functional movements that really help your life.
That's really powerful. In your journey with barre or with other aspects of wellness, would have been any major influence or influences that really shaped you? Dance is clearly key, but anything specific you want to share?
Well, like I said, I did reconnect with Elizabeth Halfpap, and through that, again, her husband, Fred, I've known both of them for so many years. So reconnecting with them was really influential. Once I went through the training program, and then through, the way things happen with COVID, they developed their wonderful Core Barre Fit business. And once they got it going, they said to me, hey, you better start learning how to teach online through Zoom, because when we hire, we would like to have you come on board. And so I just began really delving into their Core Barre Fit method and their barre fitness book.
And it sounds like this was always very clear, but was there a moment when you realized this is what I want to do? Even, were you in terms of teaching, or was it always just something you knew about that, or did it clearly grew out of the love of dance?
teaching barre.
Yeah, teaching barre.
Yes. Once I saw what it was doing for me and for my body and how I felt and the mind body connection, I wanted to share this with as many people as I could.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, for the first, before I started working for them, I was reaching out to everyone I knew and saying, hey, here's a link. Come take my barre class. Free, COVID, everybody's home doing, with nothing to do. Take this class. See what you think of it.
mm, mm. I love how authentic that sharing is. Like, I love talking to experts who are so passionate about what they do. Um, and clearly, barre comes from, as you said, yoga and ballet and Pilates. Is there a wellness modality you've ever tried, no judgment, that was like, this is just not for me, or that you outgrew?
I think any kind of high impact is not for me. Like any, like hit, all of that, it's not for me.
Why? I mean, it's good to know. Any reason? It just doesn't resonate with you?
I think it's so, at least for me, it's hard on my joints. And from all the years of dance, the knees are hanging in there, but barre has actually helped strengthen them through all of the barre exercises. But anything with heavy impact, I'm not interested in at this point.
It's important to know. If you were stranded on a desert island and you could take one piece of wellness equipment with you, what would you bring?
That's a tough one because, on the island you could use coconuts for your weights, for your barre, a little block of wood for a yoga block. The thing I would want the most would be music so that I could use that music to help inspire myself on this desert island. And if I couldn't have that, I guess I would have to, listen to the waves and hear my own music.
I love that answer. What's one, in quote, wellness rule that you love breaking? The thing, something everybody says you should do it this way or used to say. What brings out the rebel in you?
I'm a real rule follower, so that is a tough one. I don't really break rules.
I love that. So, in the world of barre, the rules work for you.
Well, I have to say, having worked so long with Liz and Fred, I follow all of their guidelines. I know that there are other barre methods that maybe still are really using the tuck, things like that I've taken a few of them and I was like, oh no, like we can't be tucking. We're tucking too much. And then they're like, keep tucking. Yeah.
I like that. Is there what's the best compliment you've ever received as an instructor or someone who is sharing things?
Well, from current students, just that my classes make a difference and they're inspiring to them. And for like my dance students, I have people come back after they've graduated from college, having been with me only up until like 8th grade, and they say, they've remembered my teaching, my classes, and that I really gave them a true love for movement and dance.
Hmm. That's profound. Is there a word or a phrase or a saying or some kind of catchphrase you hear yourself say all the time, that or that students identify with you?
I think, I really like to, while I like to point things out that people can improve on, I really like to give the compliments and inspire them to keep working. So a lot of times I'll probably say, wow, that's really awesome, so and so. Awesome is probably my overused word.
That's not a bad word, and it's such a as a student, it's so good to hear that because so many there are other styles of teaching.
Right. Yeah, I think it's important to give the positives as well as the corrections. and giving the corrections in a positive manner.
Mm-hmm. If you weren't in the world of wellness and doing this, can you imagine what you would be doing? Is there an alternative life that would excite you?
Actually, I can. So, having taught in the school, this middle school for so long, we put on a musical, and I love the costume aspect. So I do all of the costuming. And while I'm not like a professional seamstress, I can sew, but I'm really good with a glue gun. And so, the costumes have to last for a couple of shows, but I really, really enjoy costuming.
I love that. That's very fun.
Yes, yes, it is.
And what are the ages again you said for these kids that you're teaching now?
Well, our school goes from 3 years old up through eighth grade, so like
Oh,
around 15 or 14.
wow. That's a
And
lot.
put on performances. I actually do the costumes for like the little 3 year olds and 4 year olds. Not anything elaborate, but something I really enjoy doing.
Lot. Looking back, is there any advice you'd give to your younger self about the wellness journey and what you've learned now?
Not being hard on myself, I
Mm.
think, really giving myself grace. That's something that I like to tell my students. We're always at a different place, even week to week. We have days where you almost get into that split when you're doing the, lunch stretch. And then other days you're like, what's going on? And not to let it get you down and not to compete with yourself. Just know that you are always putting forth your best effort. I think that would be probably my best advice to my old self.
And to, everyone now. I mean, I think that's such a wise perspective to have.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest misconception people either have about wellness in general or about bar, or what do you see people not understanding?
I think they think that if they've never taken, let's say, a bar class, that, oh, it's not for them, or that's going to be too hard, or they don't really know enough about it, and they're not willing to take that first step to try it.
Hmm. And what
Yeah.
would you say to them?
Give it a try. I think that, the way that I teach bar, anyone can do it, whether you're a beginner, whether you've been in it for a long time, because I will give cues and alternative things that people can do that maybe they haven't done before. If they've never taken a bar class, modifications, all of that, and just try it.
That's one of the things that I particularly love about bar is that it is very accessible for almost anyone to find a way in, and with a good teacher like yourself, it never gets easy or boring.
That's true. That's true. I try to mix it up. And it's also important to know if anyone has injuries. Like I hear a lot of people say, oh, maybe it's too hard on my knees. Well, we've got a lot of different modifications that we can do so that it won't be hard on your knees.
We've talked a little bit about this with COVID, but it could be the same thing or something else. But what have you seen shift in the world of wellness since you began teaching, or where do you see things heading? Like, what have you noticed that's different these days?
Definitely the online aspect, the live streaming. Zoom probably had no idea that the fitness world would be using it for a platform to teach. And at first, you look at all the little boxes on the screen and think, how am I going to see what anybody's doing? But it really is an effective way. I feel like my words are like hands-on corrections.
Hmm.
That I've learned how to say things to people so that they understand exactly what I'm saying. Whereas if I put my hand on their shoulder and moved it back a little, they would feel it immediately in their body. Now I have to use my words to get that same feeling across. But I definitely think the online aspect has been huge.
And obviously that's what we are all about, and with the one-to-one. And so it's great to have experts like yourself who are so skilled at that you can teach people that way. So I ask everybody this, but what is your favorite quote unquote healthy food? Because I believe all foods are good in some ways, but what's the healthy one that you like the most?
That's tricky. I eat a very clean diet. It's, lean protein and lots of fruits and vegetable. Well, not a lot of fruits, but a lot of fresh vegetables, salads, and probably my favorite healthy food would be strawberries, blueberries, raspberries.
What about, in quotes, unhealthy? What's your favorite unhealthy food?
My favorite unhealthy food would be an occasional glass of wine. That's not really a food, but that would be it.
Well, I think that counts. I mean, and I don't think that's so bad. And there are people who would say it is actually very healthy for you too. I'd like that. What kind of impact do you want what you do to have on other people? Like, what's the sort of thing that motivates you to get out of bed in the morning and share what you share?
I think just the love of moving. I feel that movement is a key aspect of longevity. If you stop moving, you're going to have a tough time. And really, you can start at any age. I think people in their 60s and 70s could start with a barre class. And as a matter of fact, I know people that have started at that age and are finding that it's making a huge, huge difference. We never want to lose our mobility.
And finally, you were one of the people that through our friends Fred and Liz, who are part of VWell and our advisors, were part of our founding experts, people who came on board really early. So what attracted you to the idea of VWell and VWell's mission?
I think just being able to reach people one-on-one. A lot of people might not be comfortable hopping into like a live stream class with other people on it. I have people that take the class and never turn their cameras on. And I try to give them encouraging words, but I can't give them any kind of modifications or, corrections of posture. And this, I think VWell gives people the opportunity to not feel really exposed, but to be able to be involved in taking classes, fitness classes, and not just barre, like so many different offerings that the experts are bringing to VWell is pretty exciting.
Well, thank you, and I agree, and that's a really important part of it is that the one-to-one is so useful for both the quality of instruction, but also for those people who don't want to jump into a class with 30 people who've done it all their lives.
Right. Yes. No matter what level they're at. Some people just aren't comfortable in that situation or would like a little more one-on-one attention.
Well, we are delighted to have you on board, VWell, as one of our founding experts. You should all check out her offerings and her classes on VWell. Again, thank you so much, Dody. I really appreciate you being part of this podcast.
Well, I'm excited to be a part of VWell and excited to be part of this podcast.
Thanks for joining us on the VWell Podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation, please share it, subscribe, and stay connected at VWellNow.com. See you next time.